Hi guys, and welcome to my very first Q&A video. And therefore also welcome for my quite first video in front of the camera. As some of you might know already, I'm feeling not so comfortable in front of the camera, so I like to be in the background and explain things, but as it's called social media, I thought getting social and asked you on Instagram to send me some of your questions that you might have for me. And so you did. Thank you all for sending me questions, and I wanted to answer them today in this little video. So I hope you enjoy, and let's start. The first question comes from Primary Color, and she asked me, how old were you when you started serious drawing? Well, it's a longer story. Actually, I was having art in school, as most of you probably have. I grew up and live in Germany, and there we have arts in school, and I always was in a way quite good at arts. I don't know if it's talent or if it's just in a term some kind of interest, whatever it was. I in a way always had the freedom from my art teacher to do whatever I wanted. So if there was a special theme that the class had to do, I always had the freedom to do whatever I wanted, even if this was not really theme-based. So if it was something totally different, she allowed me to do it and progress with it. And so this, I think, in a way made a base for my art, or for my interest in art, actually. In 1999, I had a friend who was also very much into arts, and I liked what he was doing. And so I started to do and to progress in arts myself, way more than I was before. And this was the next step forwards to becoming an artist, if you would like to say that. And the stuff that I was drawing back then was way different than the stuff that I'm doing now. So I always say I will only show these pictures under torture, but let me see if I can find them, and if so, I will pop up some of them right here so you can compare my stuff that I did back then to the stuff that I'm doing right now and make your own conclusions. So there's always a way to improve, and there's always space for improvement. But then, well, life kicked in and there was a job and very little free time, so I did not draw or paint as much as I probably would have loved to do, or I had to do to improve my skills even further. And in 2013 I really started to think about, well, if you ever want to become an artist, you really should consider improving your skills and push yourself to your limits, actually. I always wanted to draw humans, faces, portraits, whatsoever, but I never really was good at it. I just couldn't do it. I had no idea about proportions or light or how to draw something in general. I just couldn't see it at this point. And I did some landscapes and such, but well, if you do landscapes and actually want to do portraits or similar stuff, you in a way get internally bored. So you just do the stuff that you're doing, but you don't really have, well, the emotion behind it perhaps. And so I honestly got bored drawing landscapes. And this was the point when I started drawing portraits, which looked awful. I admit it looked awful. And I will have several other videos telling you how I actually started. There's one which I call tracing, which is quite another topic, but I tell you a bit more about my progress in this video. And yeah, ever since I continued drawing most of the time portraits, not all the time, but quite a big part of my art career so far is done with portraiture. And I started my Facebook in 2013, and at this point it was still easier to get followers, which changed in 2014 as they changed their algorithm, for those of you who might know. And it was 2016 that I started with Instagram, just to see if there are people out there who want to see my artwork. And there are a couple, actually. And 6 weeks ago I started with YouTube. Just here that you can see me now asking questions and seeing actually my progress and filming and voice overing, and yeah, if there's something that you in particular want to see in my videos, just let me know in the comments. I'm happy to assist wherever I can. If you want to see some of my techniques, whatever actually you're interested in, just let me know and I will tell you, I think. So, coming to the next question. Lolo Ahmed asks me, how do you improve your skills? Slowly. How did I improve my skills? Actually, I think the biggest step forward I achieved to do in this year. I was watching many YouTube videos. Actually, in the last years, YouTube for me was just something to search for if you're going to look for a trailer, or if you need some assistance on how to cook something, or if you need a recipe for a cake, whatever. So it was just a tool to use whenever you need it. It never came to me that there are channels that can be subscribed to and that bring constantly new videos and input and ideas and such. And this just came to me this year when the idea came up to start my YouTube channel as well. So I looked for some artists out there and, well, as usual, you most of the times found the major, biggest channels that are out there. And yeah, I figured out, or I tried to figure out which channel I would like to watch and what seems to be interesting to me. And one of the very first ones that I came across was the Lacri Fine Art channel, which many of you might know as well, as this is one of the biggest ones. And I really learned a lot from her. I really loved watching her once I got hanged to the speed of her talking. But yeah, I really liked her videos and the input that she gives and everything. Next one was Jason Morgan, who is a wildlife artist. He also does very cool videos that you can learn much of it, and I really enjoyed these. And so step by step I found more of these art channels. Some are bigger, some are smaller, and I just watched them besides my own drawing or painting, which many of you do, I think. And this in a way improved my skills on the go while I was improving myself while I'm drawing or painting, and getting some tips from these other artists that I did not know before or that was worth a try. Not every tip that they gave me worked for me, but it does not have to. So if there's something that you can use for yourself, go for it. If there's something that you think, I want to do this differently, do differently. So art is just a journey, and there is no end in sight. So there is time for improvement every day. And if you have your own style or your own way to do something, just do something. Do whatever you feel works the best for yourself. And never ever let anyone tell you you're doing it wrong or you are not good enough or whatever. It's an improvement. Not one person was born gifted and was able to achieve everything that the old masters can do from birth. Everyone had to learn how to work, how you can make something, and there are sometimes shortcuts that you need to get known from other people, but yeah, it is still a learning process. If art was easy, everyone would do it. And although many people say, oh, you're so talented, in a way, perhaps, but you need to keep in mind that there are thousands and thousands of hours practicing, working, being disappointed, throwing stuff away. You know, you've gone through the same thing, I guess. So besides, perhaps there is a talent. I don't know if there is something like this, but there's a lot of work behind it to get to a point where I am actually now, and to come to a point where I actually want to be at some point. So stick with me, subscribe to my channel if you have not already to see my journey. Oh, actually, this one over here, as I just was pointing to it, he is not finished. I still have to do some things with his face. It's not as I want it to be. So I think 2 or 3 more layers will come to it to call it finished. This one is finished, and this one, if you can see, the right corner is finished as well. They will be shipped next week. I hope this in a way answered your questions on how to improve your skills, or how I improved my skills. Actually watching other people doing art or listening to them while drawing or painting myself really helped me, and the best way to learn something is just to do it. Even if you fail, just do it. You can watch as many videos as you want, you can read as many books as you want, unless you don't grab your pencil or your paints and start over trying it yourself, you will not learn that much. Even if you know the theoretical stuff that allows you to do what you want to do, you still need to practice. There is no way around it, so just practice. Read as much as you can, watch as much as you can, and draw and paint as much as you can. Best tip. Next question. Do you have a sketchbook? No. I don't. No, actually I don't. I have not such thing as a really book where I draw or paint doodles in. I never had. Well, I had when I was at school, but it was more or less a book that I used for doodling when I was bored with school stuff during the lessons, which was not a good thing perhaps. So if you're young, don't do this at school. Listen to your teachers. Learn something. Learn something. So I only did it in the breaks, of course. Yeah. Let's call it the breaks. No, so I don't have a sketchbook, but I do keep all the stuff that I'm drawing or painting archived in a way. So if you like to see all the stuff that I made in the last years, I will make a separate video just scrolling through my artwork that I did. It is quite a bit, so it will take too long to put into this video here. But if you like to see, just subscribe to my channel, and talking is hard. And I will make a separate video just showing you all the stuff that I did. Yeah, let me know. Olivia the Hobo, I hope I said this correctly, asks, how do you draw eyes? The same way as I draw noses and mouths and a flower. Or I know there are plenty of videos out there showing you how to draw something, a nose, ears, eyes, whatsoever. I figured that drawing eyes is very popular, so I always see these posts on Instagram where people drew eyes and they get tons and tons of likes and comments, and I sometimes wonder, because I draw full faces which have 2 eyes and I get 5 comments and 100 likes. I don't know why this is the case, but yeah, actually I don't really like these how to draw something videos, because this really doesn't really teach you how to draw something. Of course they show you how the eye is drawn and you might see or learn something from it, of course, so nothing bad about them. But actually your learning curve in drawing or painting is not about learning how to draw certain things. It is more or less seeing how things work. So when I started drawing and painting, my eyes looked differently than they do now, because I just did not see how the eye is correctly structured anatomically and how light works, and that the eyelids have a thickness to it. So in the beginning they just were a line, and my eyelashes just came out of the eye, as this was the way as I can see it, as many young starting artists also do, because this is just normal. And the more you draw something, it doesn't have to be eyes. As long as you draw something, you will learn and you will see. And the more you draw, the more things you will see, the more details you're going to notice. And so this is the learning curve that improves your skills actually. So you don't really need to pick a certain topic. So you don't need to paint or draw 50 eyes to know how to paint an eye. Even if you're starting seeing more details in your reference photo, you might not be able to copy them onto your drawing. You see them, you realize them, but you might not have the skills to put them onto your paper, which is normal as well. So just keep going, don't be frustrated, and there will be a point where you can draw the eye exactly as you can see it on a reference photo. It will take time, of course, as everything will take time. But you will get to a point where everything is getting easier. And I myself, as I wanted to do portraits, as I told you earlier, I just couldn't do it. I could draw eyes, I could draw a nose, but I couldn't put everything together to look like the face that I wanted to have. It always looked like a face, so any human, okay, it worked. But if I wanted to paint or draw someone in particular, it just didn't work. It did not work. But in a way it helped me drawing the eyes and the nose and the mouth and whatsoever in different angles and positions and lighting situation, so separately, not completed in the face, just to get the understanding how it works. So how the face actually is structured and how things look, how they look, so that the eye works as it works. So if you, for example, have a three-dimensional look to your eye, which is a bowl-like thingy and there is skin wrapped around it, and this is why it has a thickness to it, and this is why the light reflects in different angles when hit the eye and such things. So it will get easier. So if you like, I will make a video about painting and drawing eyes. It's actually not much a difference if you draw or if you paint. So if you're into oil paints or into acrylics, the eye works the very same as if it works if you go for charcoal or colored pencil or whatever medium you are actually interested in. So once you get the hang for it, it will come together in your mind and on your paper. But never give up, it takes time. Next question comes from Melissa Kyla. I hope this was correct as well. Any tips for the budding new artists out there? So aspiring artists. I consider me to be one as well. So if you have any tips, comments, let me know. I will be happy to become some of them, to get some of them as well. No, so actually my private ultimate goal is to become a full-time artist, so being able to live from it, which I'm quite far away from. So I have improved my skills quite a lot, and I hope to become a bit more well noticed perhaps in Instagram and now new on YouTube, which is a long journey, especially if you are small. So for all of you who are quite small on Instagram, I have currently about 550 followers, which is cool. So just imagining having all these people here standing in my home is awesome, quite cool. So thank you all of you who follow me and think that the stuff that I do is cool. I really appreciate it. But if you're in the same range or even smaller perhaps, it is hard and at times really frustrating, because there are times that I get 5, 6, 7 new followers a day and I lose 9 or 10 and I have no idea why. So, and after having checked this with other people on Instagram and Facebook groups, wherever I am to be contacted, this is something most accounts are facing, especially the smaller ones, because people are not rushing in as they do with the larger ones who have 20, 30, 50k and more. So I don't know, it's quite hard. But I will do my very best to progress and to be out there and coming over myself, being in front of the camera, and I hope I do well. I hope. Let me know if I don't, but I hope. And to be there for you, to give you some tips and insights of stuff that I do, to answer your questions if you have any, to also help you to improve on your skills. So when I started drawing and painting, I told you the numbers before, there was no such thing like YouTube, or not as much resources as you do have nowadays for the internet. It just was not there. So most of the things that I was able to do, that I was proud of, was done out of my self-taught test, trying and error, and there were many errors. Yeah, it's getting easier today to learn skills, and it also gets easier to get recognized on the internet, but it also gets way harder to get recognized. So it's two sides of the plate, I think. Don't stop drawing for longer time. So even if you have nothing that you want to draw in particular, so draw something, an apple, a banana, your cat, whatever you are having lying around. If you are in the bus, doodle something that you see. If you are in a car and not driving yourself, of course, so sitting next to the driver, doodle something that you see. If it's a tree, if it's a bird, whatever just comes into mind, just to practice yourself, do something. Or even if you really don't want to create something yourself, read something about it. Get yourself a book or watch something on YouTube, and there is so much out there that can inspire you. Even if you are having such thing as artist block, just do something. Even if it's not meaningful for you, draw, paint an apple. So I have something to show you at the moment. For example, this little guy here. I had no idea what I wanted to draw or to paint. So I thought about it, okay, what could I do to just do something and perhaps to give your followers something of interest out of it. So this one is becoming a video which will be uploaded soon, I guess. So I have it ready, so just need to upload it. And so I wanted to try out the old masters techniques in a way, so the soft version of it, let's call it like this. And yeah, I filmed it and I found it quite nice in the end. So the result was quite pleasant for me, so I was quite proud of. And the overall process was, I think, quite interesting to see, and I hope you feel the same when you see the video. So just do something. I did this to make a new tutorial, just to have something to show you, but even if you don't want to film, so some of you might only want to watch and not be in front or behind of the camera, which I can totally understand. Do something. Doodle something. Next question is by Artsy Stuff. Which medium would you most likely work on and which colors do you use for it? I actually work on every medium, so I have not really yet decided which one I like the most, and I probably will never decide which one I like the most. For me, again, art is like a journey, and you never know what comes behind the next corner, and there is no finish line actually. So art is always a journey, and thank you for you to follow me on my journey and to see where it ends. I actually started with graphite, which most of artists do, because this is something very cheap and you have graphite pencils available from your childhood days on, and just go with it. My technique changed over the years, so it was very different when I started, and I hope I find these pictures and that I can show you how my first ones looked. You might see a difference, Then I went over to colors, which was way different than only working in one color. So graphite is just grayish black, and going over to color was way of a difference. And this was in acrylics, because oil color always was a mysterium for me. Oils? No, not for me. Yeah, I started with acrylics, and I never really got a hang to it because they dry so fast, and I had no clue of mixing them, and there are so many amazing acrylic artists out there. It's unbelievable. So I have seen so many in the last month watching the YouTube videos, which I mind blowing. So I had no idea that you can create such details. So, but I sticked with it and tried and did, but it never felt like something really working for me. There was a point, it was, I don't know when, many years ago, when my brother gave me some oil colors and a kind of small how to use oil color booklet for Christmas. It's perhaps 10 years ago, I don't know. And I was actually thrilled getting these from them, because I myself, I would have never bought any oil colors. So he gave them to me and the booklet to have a start with. And oil colors, yeah, it was just horrifying to me. So it was the old masters, so gods of the arts, and nothing for small Michael. No, not for me. And I was really terrified, still. And I think it was 3-4 years that I just put them into my artsy store and didn't use them, because I was afraid. I had no idea how to start with them, although I had a booklet, but I thought it was magic, so I can do magic. But there was a point when I just used them. So I thought, well, what could happen? You can just fail, and you failed so often in your past. Go for it. And I went for it. And it worked better than I expected. And I loved them. I love so much that you have the possibility to blend them quite longer than you can acrylics. They dry and that's it. So if you failed and you made a very dark line on the wrong position, it was a nightmare to correct it. Yes, you could layer over and over and over, but you, at least at my understanding at this time, I always saw where the mistake was. And I was not able to cover it completely, to not see it in the end, and frustration. And with oils you just have ages to correct your mistakes, and even if you did make a very dark line on the wrong position and you let it dry and go over with another color, it most of the times instantly covers it. This was lovely. I of course had no really idea how to use them, and I was not used to it in so many ways. I can show you here what my first oil painting was. I liked it, I really liked it and was proud of it, and I'm still proud of it, which is rarely the case, because there's always something that I'm not proud of and that I think could be changed and corrected, and especially if I see something that I did from a year ago or 2 years ago, so many mistakes that I see. No one other maybe see the mistakes, but many. And if you're an artist as well, I think you will have the same issue. Just it as it is. So I kept learning and improving, and now, well, this piece in oils and this one in the middle. You see the videos on my channel, so you can see how I draw and paint with which medium. And there's still some things that I want to improve on for the next years. And yeah, it's just fun to improve and to see what is possible, which you thought will never be possible before. 2 years ago I also got some interest in colored pencil, because of these always fancy looking speed drawings available on the internet. And I thought, yay, colored pencil are, I think, quite a cool thing to try. I made my art hole and I bought a lot of stuff. Yeah, whatever you name this word correctly. I bought a lot of pencils and stuff used for pencils and paper and everything. It always felt that there is something more I need to buy to be perfect. And I didn't even start it at this point to use them. I just wanted to have everything available before I even start. Which, for you who think the same, don't do it. It's expensive. So just grab something and go for it and test it out. And yeah, it always looks so fast and fancy and easy on these speed drawings, and I figured it's the complete difference. It was slow and it was quite difficult to grab the correct colors, especially if you go for portraits. There is no such thing as a skin color that you can use all over, and it was hard at times. So it was really a complete learning curve from zero. So these color pencil, like I started with the Polychromos because this is a brand that I can get open stock in the one local art store that we have here, which is quite not much. And then I was about getting the Prismacolor pencils, because most of these fancy artists who do the speed paintings use Prismacolor pencils, and so I needed to have them. I was not able to do anything without these pencils, so I had to have them, which they work nice. I love them. And once I heard that there's an even better one, which is the Luminance, I needed to have them as well, but no, they are too expensive for me now. But at some point I will try them. I am really happy with the Prismas and the Polychromos and the Powder Blender and all the fancy stuff that is out there. But it is still not a medium that I think, yay, this is your go-to medium for eternity. No, it's not. I like that you have the most control over the pencils, and that you can make details very easier than you can do with the oil colors. But yeah, it's slow, and although I might not seem like one, I'm a bit impatient. Not with other people, just with myself. And if there is a project that takes me 40 hours or so, I still get nervous in a way, and the longer it takes, the less fun I have with it. So if it takes 40 hours in the end, I might come to a point where I just want to throw it away because it's taking too long. And yeah, well, having improved my art skills as to the level as I'm now, I can do things much faster than I was a year ago. So this one here, the first Fabian drawing that I did, what do you guess? How long did it take me? Any guess? Any guess? Yeah, I will tell you anyways. So it was about 9 hours. So this was the watercolor background, and the complete charcoal drawing took me 9 hours. I would have spent 4 times as long a year ago, I'm quite sure. This comes quite easier the more often you do it. Even this oil painting, which you can see here, I think you can. This one, which is the Fabian number 2 color pencil oil painting, which you can also see on my channel. Check it out. It's called Color Pencil Struggle because it was a struggle. It took me about 15 hours. 15 hours. Which is awesome. So I thought when I started, this takes ages, weeks, because there are some steps in between that really was difficult to achieve for me. And yeah, it was 15 hours, although I cheated in the end, and you'll see when you watch the video what I mean with cheated. So I have no really art medium that I think this is my most preferred one that I cannot live without. If I had to make a choice, I would probably go for 2, which is the charcoal as childhood. So just having one color to go for and to create cool portraits and effects and drawings, paintings. I go for charcoal and oil colors. And oil colors just because they are way more versatile in my opinion and the way as I'm working, and they have this lower drying time and they are highly pigmented, and yeah, I go for oil colors. Yeah. So Blue Angel is asking me, what does your name mean? Michael Krum. Yeah, a good one. Actually, I thought this one was really creative. I hoped. When I started my art career in 2013, and I officially made myself called an artist. As you might have known already, I live in Germany, And when I started my art career in 2013, I have to make an official paper stuff for the public authorities, and I have to make up for a name for my brand, whatever you want to call me as an artist. And I had no idea. And then I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool? My name is Michael Grimm, which is not fancy as an artist. If I just call me Michael Grimm and leave out the vowels. Is this the name, how you call it? My Andy says that it's called vowels. Here it's telling you that this is verb. I'm not sure. So I just made it Michael Grimm, which is the short form of my name, and I figured that no one seemed to figure this out. So I'm not sure if I will stick to this name. I did not came up, I have never language. I did not come up with anything cooler and more special like this one, because yeah, I've used it for 4 years now and all over the place. So if I would decide to change my name, it would have quite an impact now. Not on many people, but on all the stuff that is going behind the scenes. So I think I will stick with it. So if you ever wondered what my shorts ID is really meant to mean, this is just my name, Michael Grimm. Yeah, so this actually were most of the questions that I was asked for this very first Q&A video. I will make a studio tour video the next days, and this was one of the questions that I cannot really incorporate into this video because it will take a bit longer. Just to warn you, I don't have such thing as a studio. I just have my living room, and it is messy, as you can imagine. I have all my art supplies and stuff and my working desk here in our living room. Yeah, it's messy. But I will show you, just to get to know me, if you like to get to know me. And I will also make a video if you decide for with my older artworks. So if you like, just comment below this video if you want to see my old artsy stuff just in a video. And yeah, I really hoped you liked this video and found it useful and liked the way I did it. It was the first time for me in front of the camera. I hope I did not seem too nervous. If you have not yet so far, subscribe to my channel. The link is there or there? I don't know. Just click the button, and I would love seeing you around in my next video. So have a great day. Bye bye.